The Super Over podcast.
With me, JP Duminy.
And it's me, Jemimah Rodrigues.
Okay, it's finally here. Hello, I'm Liam Flint, and welcome to the Super Over podcast, a brand new cricket podcast which boasts not one, but two pro cricketers who know what it takes to reach the top, and it's a massive privilege to have them on here. And I'm just putting it out there, I'm not sure you'll actually find a better lineup on any podcast, let alone a cricket one, so feel free to get excited. It's awesome to welcome one of South Africa's favourite all-rounders, and no, it's not Jacques Kallis. Sorry, JP. It's JP Duminy, Proteas all-rounder. JP, welcome to the Super Over.
Thanks, man. I must emphasize, though, it's former pro cricketer.
Okay, JP's ruining this already. Some breaking news that's coming in about 5 minutes. You can sit on that for a minute, everyone, and start crying already. But yes, maybe I should say that again. Former South African all-rounder.
There we go.
But I think we're all still in mourning, so... yeah.
That's good. It's nice to be recognized, I guess, in some way or another.
Yeah. Now, to complete our lineup, we have a bit of an Indian prodigy. So she's already a key member of the India women's side, and she's only 19. I'm sure the great Sachin is already making notes. Jemimah Rodrigues is here. She joins us as well. Jemmy, really excited about this dynamic. So good to have you on. Are you ready for this?
Hey, Liam, thanks. Yes, I am definitely ready for this, and I'm super excited for this too.
Okay, so we've got JP, we've got Jemmy. We're going to be bringing you some pro player insight. We're going to be debating some various topics from world cricket. We're going to be asking those big questions as well about whether sport can give you ultimate fulfillment. Is there anything else? And we'll be fielding your questions as well. It's all about putting JP and Jemmy through their paces. JP, have you done any podcasting before?
No, this is a first for me. I've been in front of a camera quite a few times, obviously, in my career. But this is something new, which I'm quite excited about. The great thing about this is it's just having a bit of fun talking on relevant topics. And also, what's relevant in our lives at the moment, beyond the game of cricket. And I think that's always exciting. And I love speaking about those kind of topics. What's happening in one's life, man. I think, people have this perception of pro sportsmen. You live this unbelievable glamour, glorious life. And I'm not saying you don't at times. There's a lot of perks, but jeepers, you face some challenges as well as anybody else. So yeah, I think it's about being real, about being authentic, and what a platform to do it on.
I think you can always tell how good a cricketer's media skills, how good their game is by what they do on social media. And you might have seen JP do some amazing selfie videos. JP will get in front of a camera. He's probably going to go on to present Sky Sports at some point. So, yeah, and Jemmy, you've also got a very strong game on social media. Have you done podcasting and this kind of thing before?
Oh, actually, just recently I had done my first podcast just before the World Cup by Melanie Jones. So, yeah, I am a bit more experienced in this than JP. I could say that. So, yeah. I mean, but I'm really excited for this. So, first time I'm doing it with the legend himself, JP Duminy.
You don't have to
I'm a
rub
bit
it
nervous
in.
right now, but I won't show that.
Yeah.
We'll do autographs in the post after this.
Oh, thank you. What a privilege it is to be on this platform with you, Liam Flint. And you keep saying that the name Liam Flint means nothing. And for me, it's the man behind the name.
That's it.
So
I agree to that.
Welcome.
Thank you. That's possibly the greatest endorsement.
Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast.
I might save that audio bite and put it on my CV when I go for my next job. I've got great backers in high places, so you'll get very far in life. I can't believe I'm saying this, but for some listeners, they may have not heard of either of you, which is hard to believe. But let's just imagine for a minute, some people have been living under a rock and have not maybe seen any cricket or have not heard of either of you. JP, for people who are listening to this for the first time and they want to get to know a bit about you two, how would you sum yourself up as a cricketer in a few words? What kind of defines you? What kind of player are you / were you?
I like that ending. So how I would describe myself is a team man. I'd like to think of myself as somebody that put the team first in any situation. And performance-wise, it was always a case of what does the team need from me right now? And what is the best way to try and achieve that. Now, as we know in the game of cricket, it doesn't always go according to plan, but I would rather be going out into the middle, having a plan as to nothing, and kind of just free willy it in a way. I'd like to think that that was how people would remember me. My teammates would remember me, but also off field, as a cricketer, somebody who really invested in people around me, my teammates, fans, giving them of your time is an important asset, particularly in the role that we play, which is to many kids out there, even adults at times, I guess, as role models. So when you look at a role model, what's essential for role models is to project themselves in a certain way that one is authentic and real, yes, that can inspire and encourage the youth and people around them. So that's something that I've been very conscious of and try to present myself in that way any given time. We're not perfect.
Do you want to know how I'd describe you as a cricketer, JP?
No.
Fiddly little left-hander, strong off his hips, gun fielder, golden arm, and just a bit of a team man. You're just the ultimate all-rounder that people want, but you weren't particularly flashy, were you? You just got the job done.
Yes. Well, you hit a nail on the head there. You said try and get the job done. And that was something that I learned probably later on in my career, that it's not about how it looks. It's about getting the job done. Gary Kirsten was somebody that spoke highly of that statement. It's about getting the job done. So, that definitely stands up.
Jemmy, watching your cover drives is something to behold. How would you describe your game?
So I am a top order batter for India, and looking at me and my physique, I am not such a muscular person or anything, so I depend a lot on my timing and hitting the ball in the middle of
good
the bat.
Bats.
So that's the kind of cricket I am.
Big bats.
You gotta have good bats.
Definitely. Actually, I use the heaviest bat in my team.
Oh,
Everybody
there
keep
you go.
making fun of
Sachin
me.
was the same, eh? Sachin was the same.
Yeah.
You must have some muscle to carry the biggest bat.
I don't know about that. So actually I don't know much what to say about that, but that's my game, that's my style.
And you can bowl a bit as well.
Not too bad, I would say. I'm an off spinner too, so a part-time bowler actually.
The golden arm.
I feel like people need to appreciate how difficult this is to get the three of us on a call.
Yeah.
You might say it's not rocket science, but I mean, Jemmy, you're in Australia right now, getting ready for the T20 Women's World Cup. JP is cozy in South Africa, but you're travelling off soon as well. Pretty impressive, isn't it, that we've managed to do this? I think this is only like our third try, which is very good.
Yeah, and different time zones, which is always a challenge. So well done to you guys. It's been a challenge to get you guys, to pin you guys down. So
let's just blame it all on Jemmy, shall we?
Yeah. You need to stop practicing now because it's getting in the way.
She's the one on the other side of the world, so we'll lay it all at her doorstep.
Exactly.
Jemmy, what is going on with you right now? Over the last week or so, what have you been doing? I mean, we've said you're in Australia. Just fill us in on the last few days.
We had our tri-series against England and Australia. We did make it to the finals, but we lost by a few runs, so that was a bit disappointing. But actually, I would say it was a good preparation getting into the big tournament, the World Cup, like for our team to get our combinations right and knowing what is working for us and what is not. And obviously playing with the best teams in the world, England and Australia, means we cannot get a better preparation than that. That to playing in Australia, getting familiar with the conditions. So it has been a pretty good week. Not much time actually, but I would take the most of it and learn more and try to get going to the World Cup.
What's the vibe in the team like at the moment? You guys feeling relaxed, confident, looking forward to the next couple of weeks?
Yes, definitely. Our team is actually bonding really well, means compared to all the other series we've had. And the best part is, we are understanding each other's game even more. Because obviously the most time you spend with the team and the more you play with each other, you get to know each other well. And that's, I think, the most important thing of cricket or of any sport. Like to know your teammates well and, to make up for each other, like whenever anything happens. So I think that's going really well with our team.
Can you compete with that, JP?
In which way?
Well, Jemmy's living the good life. She's in Oz. She's tournaments on the horizon. What's your week been? Has it been swimming pool, bit of spa?
You know what? The interesting thing about people feeling like retirement, and that's what you do, like, because you attach retirement to like a 60-year-old. You kind of just relaxing at home, going on holiday. But man, it's been a hustle. I'm an unemployed ex-cricketer. So yeah, so trying to work my way through transition really around the next phase or the next season of my life. And I'm involved in a few business ventures at the moment. One being water filtration, another one being a cricket coaching app, and then also one of my big passions in life is team and business culture. You get this hunger and desire to know that when you're outperforming or giving a performance or playing out in the middle, or you're in a business meeting or whatever the case may be, the thing that gets you up is to know that you are representing more than you. And I think that truly inspires me, and that's a space I really want to operate in getting people to understand and operate beyond themselves.
How can I enroll my name in that?
You can be my first client.
Yes, I'm up for it.
Look at this. Networking all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I take back what I said about the swimming pool, JP, maybe next week, but it sounds like you've been
I'm looking at the swimming pool and it's looking enticing. There's good weather outside.
Let's take this outside. We've talked about it kind of tongue-in-cheek at the start, but let's address the elephant in the room. JP, we'll get our tissues ready, but you have retired. As of last month, you've retired from all forms of cricket. I mean, you've been an amazing servant to the Proteas, your career over 20 years. You've done some amazing things. Yeah. Lots of people will be listening to this saying, why is he gone? He's still got so much time left, or, such a talented player. What tells you that you are ready? How do you time things like this well when it's been your life for, I'm sure, as long as you can remember?
Sure. It's not a blanket answer. So what I mean by that is there's a few reasons in terms of personally why I made that decision, but I don't think it's the same for everybody. I think there'll be similarities, but there'll be few things happening in your life at the time that will sort of nudge you in a specific way, right? So I think first things first, my body was taking a bit of strain. So I've in the last 5 years, I've had a lot of injuries, some longer than other to kind of heal from. And I think I lost the hunger and desire for the rehab process, to be honest with you, because it takes quite a bit of dedication and time. So that's the one thing. And then the main thing really for me is once I retired from international cricket a couple of months ago, so that would have been after the World Cup last year. For me, when I talk about culture, I talk about the understanding of playing for something bigger than you. Now, when I left that environment, I realized that was gone. So playing for South Africa, there was always a higher purpose to it. There was always a higher calling to what you were doing. And once I left that environment, I kind of felt lost without the bigger purpose. So, I mean, I ventured into playing a few T20 tournaments, and it was great. It was a great experience of mingling with guys from different teams, from different countries, understanding different cultures. But it unfortunately didn't fulfill me in terms of purpose. And then I really had to do an audit of my life, really, and my career, and ask myself the harsh questions around, am I really enjoying this? Is this something I want to be part of? Or do I believe God is calling me into something more or different? Yeah, so those are the questions I needed to answer. And my answers were, right, I'm going to take a bold step in calling it quits from all cricket and venture into what I believe God is calling me into next, which I'm still trying to work out. When you talk about purpose, it's an interesting conversation because you believe that is my purpose or this is my purpose. And then once you venture into it, you realize, that's also appealing to me, or that is. So the thing about transition, it's such a weird space that it can cause so much anxiety, fear, doubt, and you can lose yourself in it. And I've had many conversations, and I'm sure we can draw on many scenarios and stories of how sportsmen get lost after their playing days. It's just been an interesting time for me because I've had moments of where I'm feeling lost, and I'll be honest with you, I felt that a few days ago, and I've been having conversations with my wife and people close to me around, jeepers, this is how I'm feeling. This is what my experiences have been. Structure is, and Jim, you will have a brief understanding of this. When you're in a professional environment, everything is done for you. There is so much structure around. You literally get told what time to have breakfast, what time to, wake up, when you must leave your bags outside your door. Everything gets done for you. And now you're in a space, or I'm in a space where I need to create the structure for myself. And it's such a weird and wild experience. And people listening will think, well, that's like everyday life, really. But it's different for me because I've known something for 20 years, and this is now a new territory for me. So it's been interesting. Still trying to work out what really is next. You got your hand in a few things, but as much as it is fearful and there's doubts, it's exciting at the same time because now you are venturing into some really cool stuff. But you just can't see the future really.
Yeah, sure.
So the important thing for me, what I've learned from cricket, and Jem, you will relate to this, is staying in the moment, right? So watching ball by ball, staying in the present, of not trying to think of the score too far ahead or what the game situation is. You're literally trying to face what's in front of you, and that's all I have in the transition, is taking it day by day as in relate to ball by ball. There's some great lessons of cricket that I can apply in this day and age.
Jeremy, you must be sat there like, retirement? What's that?
Yeah. Actually, when I got to know that JP was supposed to retire, I sat down there and I was thinking, man, what would my life be like? Because we're so used to cricket. Every day we wake up, okay, today I'm going to go and practice. Today I'm going to go and gym because, this tournament is coming up ahead, or, these series are coming up ahead. But just waking up one day, all of a sudden, just knowing, okay, like what's coming up next? Like, because as JP said, he's been doing this for 20 years. For other people, it will be like, okay, just a normal life. But, we are so used to this, and means, man, I don't know how you are doing this, but it was so inspiring to just hear what you went through. It's not easy for you too, but as you're saying, you're just taking it step by step and, not knowing what's going to happen, but, trusting that God's got you in his hands and he has a bigger plan for you than just yourself. So, that's really amazing and something for me to learn. And I'm so glad, I'm in this podcast and I'm getting to know all this at such a young age.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you.
Do you get the sense that there are people who are actually going to help you with this stuff for when this day comes? Do you get equipped for this, or is it actually you retire and then, no one's ever told me what I should do next?
I think the important thing to note is, the old cliche of surrounding yourself with good people. And the reality for that scenario is it is up to you to make that effort. It is a tough one. It really is a tough one. And I've been fortunate, and I've shared certain vulnerabilities around, let's say, this past week, but I've been fortunate to have some good people around me that can help me. You can lean on to have certain conversations around what you're experiencing. And, sometimes it's not about finding solutions. Sometimes it's just about sharing what's actually happening. And you kind of releasing that tension of carrying the burden. And you feel a lot lighter just, getting it off your chest. And after that, it's like, once it's off, you can kind of then think and see clearer. But without a doubt, there's, I think it's underplayed. And again, we've seen and heard many stories of how people, ex-professional sportsmen fall off the wagon, so to speak. And it's a real thing. It is truly a real thing. And I've had glimpses of it. And it's definitely in a space where we really need to take seriously.
Cool. The level of wisdom right now on this podcast is getting just dropped all over the place. If Jemmy's feeling encouraged, I'm hoping lots of listeners are also encouraged. You know, I'm sure there's lots of young aspiring cricketers who are going to have to face this one day. For you to be going through it, JP, is an amazing opportunity to help other people. Jemmy, talking about the here and now, we know you're in Australia. Let's just touch on the T20 World Cup that's coming up for you. How are you feeling? And what are the expectations on India, on you guys, going into this tournament?
I think for me, I'm really excited for this tournament, firstly. But, at the same time, there's equal amount of nervousness too. It's mixed feelings. And actually, I'm really looking forward to this World Cup because, as JP said, it's just more than ourselves, because how India does in this World Cup is actually going to set the tone for women's cricket in India. And if y'all have been following the last time India reached the finals in 2017, actually that I have experienced that actually changed women's cricket in India. Like, I have seen it. I was at home during the finals. I was studying and the finals were going on. But, the kind of change that I have seen in India after that Women's World Cup, just set the tone going. And I think so this World Cup is a greater responsibility for each one of us, because that's how women's cricket in India is going to go. And, that's how we have that responsibility to take it forward. So, really excited about it. But also, I just don't want to get lost in, it's a big tournament or, so many expectations, media covering it. As JP again said, I just want to stay in that moment, play it ball by ball and enjoy that moment, because actually that's the reason I started playing cricket. So I don't want to lose that joy.
Particularly in South Africa as well, you see how there's been a real push for women's cricket to be seen as a professional entity. And it should be, because you have some top class players, there's a big drive to drive cricket within women. So I have a foundation here back in South Africa, and we obviously introducing cricket at a very young level in terms of what we do. And there's a big, keen interest from young girls. We don't necessarily have a women's team, but you're having young girls play with the boys and outshining them sometimes. I think we're all excited by the growth of women's cricket. And I think, particularly in this T20 World Cup coming up now, it's going to be a platform and the opportunity to showcase really what talent is on show, but also what women's cricket is all about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
Right, come on then. Who are the favourites from both of you? Who are you tipping? Jamie, obviously wearing your India hat, but who do you think is going to be the biggest threat to you winning that?
Actually, you can't take any team lightly in T20, I would say, because T20 is such a game. Anything can happen.
Anyone can win on the day. It's about who turns up, all that stuff.
It's who does well on that particular day that actually has the win. So for me, I would not say anybody. I would say who does well on that day.
Okay, very political. JP?
I think teams like Australia, England, India and South Africa, and probably New Zealand. I think those are the top 5. Would that be a fair statement, Jim?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm backing the South African women. Come on.
Yeah, of course you are.
I thought we were friends, man. I thought you were supporting India.
But listen. Here's the thing. South Africa can win, but you can still score runs. That's a win for both sides.
That is a big win.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Since we've started this, I find myself investing, especially in Jemmy's matches, so much more. I find it when you actually get to know someone, you're rooting for that person. So now I'm following so much more of the Indian women's cricket team just to see, did Jemmy get any runs today? Did she take a catch? Is she going to have a bit of a bowl? It's not great when you don't want to support India, you want to support England. But actually, I would love Jemmy to win it all. That'd be great. Bring the trophy, hold the trophy.
India can play against South Africa in the final. South Africa can win it. Jem can get player of the tournament. How good is that?
But it's not as good as winning the World Cup, though.
No.
If you do win the World Cup, at least we'll have one of us that have won a World Cup. So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
Liam, we haven't come close, unfortunately.
No, we've not. Let's talk about your World Cup experience. You can pass it on to Jemmy. You were the first South African to take a World Cup hat-trick. Now that's pretty special. Does that feel special to you, or actually is winning a World Cup, is being part of a team, is this just a little add-on?
I think anybody that plays professional sport would have taken a World Cup winning team more than any sort of individual glory. You got to appreciate your experiences, If I think back to that World Cup, it was a quarterfinal against Sri Lanka. I mean, who would have thought of that? I mean, that's the last thing I would have thought of. I mean, you would dream about scoring a World Cup 100 and a match-winning innings in a World Cup final, but I mean, a World Cup hat-trick definitely wasn't on my radar. And so what happened was, I bowled about 8 overs, right? So I think I took a wicket in last ball of the 6th over, and then obviously came on the next over again, and then took the wicket the first ball. But I mean, you don't remember so well like what's just come. So I'm standing at the back of my mark, and I'm like, right, the game's on the line here, and I'm about to bowl, and one of my teammates, I can't remember who it was, came to me and says, "Listen, do you know you're on a hat-trick?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So let me like kind of change the feel though.
Yeah.
Point the short leg.
Look like you're making a big effort. Yeah, bring everyone in.
Yeah, I bowled this ball. The batter played for the turn. I don't know why he was playing for turn. He knows I don't turn the ball. And he played around it, and LBW was the third wicket, and then extremely overjoyed, jumped in the air. Yeah, the team surrounded me and like rubbing my hair, and it was an awesome experience. Wow. Yeah, one that I'll cherish for the rest of my life for sure.
So there you go, Jemmy. We've put the marker down. You need to get a World Cup hat trick, maybe a hat trick of hundreds. We'll give you that as well. Either way,
okay. Well, win the World Cup, win a World Cup. I think that's
much.
Yeah, we'll give her that one. We'll give her that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep up to speed with how the World Cup's going, and I'm sure on our next recording, you'll be able to talk us through the group stages and how things are going as well. That'd be really good to keep everyone updated, and JP can lay down some more wisdom about getting to the semis and hopefully not choking, that kind of thing. Yeah. Right, guys, let's play a little game. So, I'm gonna test you here, and everyone listening, you can play along with this as well. That's the beauty of it. So here, we're going to play a bit of a Guess Who game with current international cricketers, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a handful of statements about this player, and it's going to be the first one of you to basically buzz in, and the buzzword today is King Kohli. So if you'd like to buzz in with your answer, you have to say King Kohli, and then I will allow you to have a guess.
I have a question. What made you make King Kohli the buzzword?
Because Kohli is king, and I thought we should give him a mention in every podcast. So he deserves his 1 second of limelight.
Not Jemimah as queen, eh?
World Cup for Jemmy. So I'm just going to read them through, and let's say after the second statement I read out, if you have a clue, you can buzz in, and I'll keep the score. Yeah. So first player for you.
Okay.
I wasn't born in the country that I play for. I have motivational messages tattooed on my arms. Number 3, my squad number is usually 55. And number 4, I had a T20 World Cup final to forget.
Is this all male or is it
so this female? I'll give you this one is a male cricketer. So
is he from England?
I can't tell you that. That would be cheating, Jemmy. You can only work off what I've given you. Okay, so
King Kohli.
Go on, JP.
King Kohli. Ben Stokes.
Yes. I think Jemmy.
I had that in my mind.
Jemmy set you up there.
I gave you the clue. Yeah.
You did.
It's okay. I just let you win this round.
Okay, 1-0 JP. Next one. This is another male cricketer. Okay, I used to be an opening batsman at under 17 level, but since then I'm lower order. I was given my first Test cap by the great Sachin Tendulkar. I'll be playing my domestic cricket in England this year. I think you'll get it after this one. I became the third Indian off-spinner to take over 25 wickets in a Test series after EAS Prasanna and Harbhajan Singh.
King Kohli.
Yeah, go on.
Ashwin?
Yeah, Ashwin, yeah. Ravi Ashwin. He'll be playing for Yorkshire this summer.
She didn't answer that properly. She said Ashwin, not his full name.
I said Ashwin. No, not fair.
What's R? What does R stand for? I don't know.
Yeah, it could mean anything. It could be Robert Ashwin or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't it Ravichandra?
Yeah.
What is his first name?
Yeah. Ravichandra.
Yeah.
Ravichandran. Okay, 1-1.
But I
Okay,
get
1-0.
this point,
Well done.
right? 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Jemmy gets it.
I'll give you
Okay.
half.
This one is a female cricketer. I'm currently sat in the top 5 in the world rankings. I've played at a football World Cup.
No, okay, continue. I'll take the third option.
And I'm an all-rounder.
Ashwin, I'm saying. King Kohli.
Okay, we've changed the buzzword to R. Ashwin. Okay, Jemmy, go on for the win.
Alice Perry.
Yes. Elise Perry, who of course played for Australia at a football World Cup.
She said Alice Perry, not Elise.
So
Not Elise.
I can't take that.
It's 2 halves, which equals 1. It's a draw. Well done.
Yeah, I think you definitely win that one, Jemmy.
Yeah. Well
And
done.
Thank you,
I think we'll
guys.
have to revisit that. Right, just before we finish up, we did ask over social media for some questions for you to send your questions in for both JP and for Jemmy. And we did have a nice intro here where we had JP going through every response on his Instagram, trying to make sense of the millions of messages that he's had. So thank you for sending all those messages. JP, we'll start with you. Pick some of the best. Over to you.
So I've picked 3. Let's start with it's from rock.swagger, and the question is your favorite cricketer. Without a doubt, Brian Lara. I'm gonna name 2 actually, Brian Lara and Herschel Gibbs. So Brian Lara, obviously left-hander, love watching him. Herschel Gibbs was somebody that I thoroughly enjoyed watching when I was younger. I had the huge privilege of ending up playing with him. So I ended up playing with one of my heroes, which was cool. But yeah, those 2 stand out for me.
Okay, so technically you didn't answer the question because you asked for 1, but that's okay. Seeing as we're
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving a little bit more. Come on.
giving him more than he bargained for, he must be very blessed right now.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll go over to Jemmy and then we'll come back to another on JP. Jemmy, what have you got there?
Okay, so the first question I got today, actually, it was actually the first question I got. It's from Purnima. So this is very exciting. Where can we listen to the podcast? I think so, Liam, you can answer this question better than me.
Well done, Jemmy. You've tactically just thrown
It's not
it
Ask
over
Jemmy,
to
it's
me.
Ask Liam.
So this podcast will be out there, available by Tuesday of next week, and it's going to be available on all of your serious hosting sites. So we're thinking Castbox, iTunes, Spotify. So we'll be releasing the full list once it goes live. So do stay tuned and you'll be able to access that from wherever you are. There you go. Is that good enough, Jemmy?
Yes, thank you, Liam.
Okay, JP, back to you.
Yeah, so the second one, which was from Brian P_06. And the question was, how do you balance your family life and cricketing career during your playing days? Now, this was a tough task, but I was very fortunate in that before we had our second child, Alexa Rose, my wife and my firstborn, Isabella, they traveled with me pretty much to every country. And that was a blessing because I had the opportunity then to obviously focus on my playing career, but also whenever I came back, whether it was a good day or a bad day, I was walking into a room where they wouldn't judge you because of that. We were fortunate to always take somebody with to actually help with looking after my daughter as well. So we got to spend some quality time as husband and wife, as well as having my daughter there. So that was kind of how I balanced it. And it was brilliant because, you have good days and bad days in cricket. And the beauty of having your family there is they don't love you any more or less because of a performance. They're just excited to see you when you come back from the cricket field. And it was a real sobering feeling walking into the bedroom knowing that they are there. It was obviously exciting when you performed, but when you didn't, you knew that they're going to be there to support you no matter what. So that's how I found the balance.
Awesome. Okay. Emmy.
Okay, so the question was from Sharasti803. What was your feeling when you got the India cap and jersey? Honestly, I couldn't describe that feeling. Actually, I made my debut on this day, in South Africa. That was 2 years ago.
Wow.
In South Africa, and this also has a story. So whenever I used to go to watch a movie, they used to have the national anthems being played in India
Yeah,
before
that
the
was
movie
that was
starts.
quite an experience when I couldn't believe, sorry to break your word there. I
Yeah.
went to watch a movie in Mumbai, and all of a sudden I'm seeing people standing up like, what's going on? Are we like, is there a fire alert or something?
Yeah, so we still have the national anthem before every movie. So every time I used to stand for the national anthem, I used to imagine myself in the India blues, standing there,
Awesome.
and just visualizing myself wearing those India blues and standing there and playing for India. So I couldn't describe that feeling. And the day I got my India cap and wore those India blues, walked out for the first time to play for India, I can't express that feeling. And to make it better, my dad, who's always been there with me, he traveled all the way from India to South Africa just to watch my debut. So, as a young
Oh,
child,
wow.
dreaming about that, and, on that day being over there, that feeling cannot be described in words.
That's it. Well, what a hero.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. JP, I'm just imagining you in that movie theatre singing the South African anthem over the top of the Indian one.
Why not?
Exactly.
Got one more
go on
question
then.
here. So the question is from Hest_the_best18. Yeah.
Well
So
said.
that's
He's been practicing that one
I
all
want to
night.
meet this person.
that's the Instagram handle. And he says, I'm a cricketer as well, and how can I testify about Jesus in cricket? So that's an interesting one, and I think various people will have different ways and want to express that in a specific way. The way I would answer that question is when you're out on that field and you are trying to give your best, it's almost as if you're picturing there's an audience of one watching you. So whether it is at playing club level, whether it is playing professional cricket, so obviously there'll be 50,000 people sometimes watching. It is to kind of picture in your mind that there's just one person watching, and he's all that matters. When I say matters, I mean that respectfully to others, obviously, but the approval comes from him, and that's how I see testifying about Jesus in cricket, is that all we have is that we can give our best. I'll give our best effort. We have no control over results, right? But the important thing to know is that we are good enough in his eyes before a performance or without performance. Yeah.
I'm going to definitely apply this for my next game. Thank you, JP.
It's a pleasure.
Jemmy's got a notebook. Yeah, this has been very good. I can tell.
Last one point. Don't you find that when you give answers like this, it's almost like you guys are a mirror for myself, or you can have that same experience for yourself, is that you're speaking to yourself.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about that is you're saying the words, but sometimes you don't always live it because of your circumstance or experience, that you get to answer certain questions you have for yourself without actually somebody else doing it. Yeah, a bit deep there. Sorry, guys, to end that way.
As long as Jemmy understands you, that's all right, mate. That's fine.
All right, cool.
Okay, that's episode 1 in the bag. We've all survived, and some lucky fans have had their questions batted back now as well. So everyone's a winner. Now you can head over to social media. You can follow what we're doing during the week at the Super Over, and that's on Facebook, Insta, and Twitter. Now you can get your questions into us as you've just seen them read out. All you have to do is use the hashtag #AskDuminy and Ask Jemmy. You can do that on Twitter and Instagram, or if you've got a longer story that you'd like to share or a reason why these two are inspirations to you, just drop us an email to thesuperoverpod@gmail.com. We'll be going through those and we'll read some out on the next pod. We would love to hear from you. Jemmy, on reflection, will you be coming back for more in round 2?
Oh, yes, definitely. I need words of wisdom from JP.
Yeah, so there you go. JP, you have to come back.
No, but honestly, I really enjoyed this one. And actually, more than anything else, I got so much to learn today. And, as JP said, you sharing is actually an empowerment for yourself too. You don't know, actually you're talking to yourself and reminding yourself the same things that, we tend to forget, but the same things over and over again. So yeah, I'm really excited for the second one.
Awesome.
Okay, good. We're paying her to say that. Okay, JP, any parting words for the next week?
It is an absolute pleasure to be on this platform, to share one's thoughts and experiences. And the thing that I want to leave us with is that everybody has a story. Everybody has the opportunity to somehow share a story with somebody that can impact them in a powerful way. Never underestimate the power of your story. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. Everybody has somebody to share that can impact the next person.
Boom.
Right.
So join us again. Episode 2 will be coming out very soon. Keep tabs on us on social media. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Bye for now.